All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Tanvi Taneja. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon international community to unite against terrorism for the sake of humanity. Says India gave the world Buddha's message of peace and not war. PM holds bilateral talks with leaders from several countries including Bangladesh and Bhutan. US asks Pakistan to prosecute UN-designated terrorists like Hafiz, Saeed and Masood, Azhar. India's second Scorpene-class submarine INS Khanderi to be commissioned in Mumbai today. 20 countries including India sign agreement to stop spread of fake news online. And Afghanistan goes to polls to elect a new president. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called upon the international community to unite against terrorism for the sake of humanity. In his address at the 74th session of United Nations General Assembly in New York, his focus was on development in the country, climate change and terrorism. He said India is an example to the world and the world could seek motivation from the developing country. The Prime Minister lamented the lack of unanimity amongst the member states on the issue of terrorism, saying it hurts those very principles that are the basis for the creation of the United Nations.
आतंक के नाम पर बटी हुई दुनिया उन सिद्धांतों को ठेस पहुंचाती है जिनके आधार पर यूएन का जन्म हुआ है और इसलिए मानवता की खातिर आतंक के खिलाफ पूरे विश्व का एकमत होना, एकजुट होना मैं अनिवार्य समझता हूं.
Mr. Modi said, peace and harmony is the need of the hour as he invoked the words of Swami Vivekananda in Chicago where he urged the global community to avoid dissensions. The Prime Minister said, India has given Buddha to the world and not Yuddha.
हम उस देश के वासी हैं जिसने दुनिया को युद्ध नहीं बुद्ध दिए हैं, शांति का संदेश दिया है और इसलिए हमारी आवाज में आतंक के खिलाफ दुनिया को सतर्क करने की गंभीरता भी है और आक्रोश भी. हम मानते हैं कि ये किसी एक देश की नहीं बल्कि पूरी दुनिया की और मानवता की सबसे बड़ी चुनौतियों में से एक है.
Mr. Modi noted that the largest number of supreme sacrifices made by soldiers of any country for UN peacekeeping missions is from India. Mr. Modi said the world is celebrating the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, whose message of truth and non-violence is relevant even today for peace, development and progress in the world. Urging the United Nations to provide a new direction to the world affairs, the Prime Minister said multilateralism and collective responsibility should be the road ahead. Noting that modern technology is bringing about sweeping changes in every sphere of life and a fragmented world is in the interest of none, Mr. Modi pressed the international community to give a new direction to multilateralism. He said, as the world is going through a new era, the countries do not have the option to confine themselves within their boundaries. Highlighting India's leadership role on global issues, he said, India was one of the leading nations in the fight against climate change.
अगर इतिहास और पर कैपिटा एमिशन के नजरिए से देखें तो ग्लोबल वार्मिंग में भारत का योगदान बहुत ही कम रहा है, लेकिन इसके समाधान के लिए कदम उठाने वालों में भारत एक अग्रणी देश है. एक और तो हम भारत में 450 गीगावाट रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के लक्ष्य पर काम कर रहे हैं, वहीं दूसरी ओर हमने इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस स्थापित करने की पहल भी की है.
Mr. Modi said one of the effects of global warming is the increasing number and severity of natural disasters, and at the same time they are appearing in new areas and in new forms. The Prime Minister said in view of this, India has initiated the formation of the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. This coalition will help build infrastructure which can withstand natural disasters, he said. Mr. Modi added that India is initiating a very large campaign to make the country a plastic-free nation. As a true statesman dedicated to the cause of human welfare, the Prime Minister also elaborated on various welfare schemes like Clean India Mission, Ayushman Bharat, Azhar initiative, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, among others initiated by his government. He said the experience from these projects could be beneficial to those nations who, like India, are striving for development. The Prime Minister said the very core of our approach is public welfare through public participation, and this public welfare is not just for India but for the entire world. Mr. Modi said India's motto of Jan Bhagidari to Jan Kalyan has now encompassed Jan Kalyan to Jag Kalyan. Our correspondent covering the event takes a look at the highlights of the PM's address to the UN General Assembly.
Prime Minister Modi's address to UN General Assembly was crisp and pointed. He invoked the spirit and values of Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, Gautam Buddha and great Tamil saints. The address opened up with remembrance to Mahatma Gandhi, and he said, "We are celebrating his 150th birth anniversary." The Prime Minister said that we belong to a country which has given Buddha and not Yuddha. Without naming a country, he said, when we raise voice against terror, it is with seriousness and anger. Referring to global challenges, Prime Minister said India has taken lead in conserving water and banning single-use plastic. His remarks on climate change received applaud. The role of UN in fostering multilateralism and collective responsibility came to the fore in his address. Prime Minister summed it up saying India will take the lead to make the world a better place to live in peace and harmony without dissension. Atul Tiwari, AR News, New York.
Congratulatory messages poured in after the Prime Minister's historic address at the UN General Assembly. Home Minister Amit Shah has hailed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's speech, saying he has put India on the world stage as a leading voice of reason and purpose. In a tweet, Mr. Shah said, Mr. Modi, like a true statesman, has not only conveyed the message of universal brotherhood, but also reminded the world of India's unprecedented contribution towards global peace. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said the Prime Minister's speech was a manifestation of India's imprint and intent at the global stage on fighting terror. Several other leaders also congratulated the Prime Minister for delivering an impactful speech at the UN General Assembly. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts and News on AIR app.
बेटा कहाँ चले?
मैं चला पार्क। वहाँ होंगे कॉलोनी के सारे बच्चे। हम सब मिलकर चलाएंगे स्वच्छता का अभियान। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है
हम 2 अक्टूबर से पहले लगभग 2 सप्ताह तक देश भर में स्वच्छता ही सेवा अभियान चलाते हैं। इस बार यह 11 सितंबर से शुरू होगा। इस दौरान हम अपने अपने घरों से बाहर निकलकर श्रमदान के जरिए महात्मा गांधी को कार्यांजलि देंगे। पूरे देश में प्लास्टिक के खिलाफ एक नए जन आंदोलन की नींव रखेंगे।
स्वच्छता का ये अभियान चलाना है और सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक को हटाना है।
Prime Minister Modi held bilateral talks with leaders from several countries, including Bangladesh and Bhutan, in New York last night. During the talks between Mr. Modi and Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the two leaders reviewed the excellent state of bilateral relations and cooperation and agreed to maintain the momentum to take the India-Bangladesh relationship to new heights. They reiterated their zero-tolerance approach to terrorism and extremism and agreed for a strong partnership in security. Mr. Modi also met his counterpart from Bhutan, Luthe Shering, last night. The two leaders reviewed the bilateral relationship following the successful visit of Prime Minister Modi to Bhutan in August. They expressed satisfaction at the progress made in diverse sectors, including development partnership, hydropower cooperation, people-to-people ties, and recent initiatives taken in newer areas of space, digital connectivity, financial sector, and tertiary education. Mr. Modi also met Mauritius President P.P. Vyapore and Cyprus President Nikos Anastasiades and discussed issues of regional and international significance, including terrorism. The Prime Minister has since left for New Delhi. The United States has asked Pakistan to prosecute UN-designated terrorists Hafiz Saeed and Masood Azhar. Speaking at a special briefing during UN General Assembly in New York, U.S. Acting Assistant Secretary for South and Central Asia, Alice Wells said, reduction of Indo-Pak tensions would depend on Islamabad's seriousness in taking action against those who engage in cross-border infiltration. She said U.S. would like to see conditions where India and Pakistan can have a constructive conversation that leads to an improvement of relations. But Pakistan has to take steps against terrorism, including prosecution of UN-designated terrorists. She also accused Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan of adopting double standards by raising Kashmir issue while ignoring the plight of an estimated 1 million Uyghurs and other Turkic-speaking Muslims who have been detained in China's Xinjiang province. A large number of protesters from Sindh, Baluchistan, Pak-occupied Kashmir and tribals joined in the protests against persecution of minorities in Pakistan. Holding placards and raising slogans, they cited large-scale atrocities by the Pakistani agencies against them and sought the assistance of India and the UN agencies in protecting their rights and ensuring freedom. This is All India Radio giving you the news.
मम्मी, मैं तैयार हूँ बाजार जाने के लिए। आपने कपड़े का थैला रख लिया है ना? प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है
इस 2 अक्टूबर को हम भारत को सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक, क्या इससे देश को मुक्ति दिला सकते हैं? मैं तो सभी दुकानदारों से आग्रह करूंगा, एक बोर्ड ये भी लगा दीजिए, कृपा करके हमसे प्लास्टिक की थैली की अपेक्षा न करें। आप अपने घर से कपड़े का थैला लेकर के आइए। जूट के थैले हो, कपड़े के थैले हो, मेरे किसान को मदद करेगा। गरीब विधवा माँ जो सिलाई करती होगी उसको मदद करेगा। यानी हमारा एक छोटा सा निर्णय भी सामान्य मानवी के जीवन में किस प्रकार से बदलाव ला सकता है, हम उस दिशा में काम करें।
क्या आपने रखा है अपने साथ कपड़े का थैला?
India's second Scorpene-class submarine, INS Khanderi, will be commissioned by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in Mumbai today. Fully automated submarine INS Khanderi is built at state-run Madgaon Dock Limited and underwent rigorous sea trials for over 2.5 years. 20 countries, including France, Britain and India, have signed an agreement at the United Nations to stop spread of fake news online. The signatories, which also included South Africa and Canada, committed to promoting independently reported, diverse and reliable information on the Internet under an accord initiated by Reporters Without Borders. Afghanistan goes to polls today to elect a new president. Around 9.6 million Afghans are registered to vote. Several of the 18 original contenders have dropped out, and the poll is considered a two-horse race between current President Ashraf Ghani and country's Chief Executive Abdullah Abdullah. And now for an overview of today's newspapers, it's over to Subhadra Ramachandran.
Thank you, Sanvi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling for a united stand against terrorism at the 74th UN General Assembly session dominates top newspaper headlines. A silence that spoke volumes. PM does not mention Pakistan. Kashmir in UN speech. Headlines The Times of India. Modi talks peace. Imran warns of war, reports the Asian Age. The Tribune and the Times of India highlight Pakistan's double standards in its headlines. Why this concern for Indian Muslims when you're not worried about those in China, US asks Pakistan. The development in the INX Media corruption case also gets wide coverage. INX Media net widens, ex-Niti Aayog CEO among 4 to be prosecuted, writes the Indian Express. Quoting an IHS market report, the statesman says corporate tax cut to improve India's competitiveness. The Asian Age highlights a significant move of the Election Commission where it ruled that doubtful voters left out of Assam's NRC can still vote as long as their cases are pending before the foreigners' tribunals. And with that, it's back to you, Thanvi.
Thank you, Subhadra. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon international community to unite against terrorism for the sake of humanity, says India gave the world Buddha's message of peace and not war. PM Modi holds bilateral talks with leaders from several countries, including Bangladesh and Bhutan. US asks Pakistan to prosecute UN-designated terrorists like Hafiz, Saeed and Masood Azhar. India's second Scorpene-class submarine, INS Khanderi, to be commissioned in Mumbai today. 20 countries, including India, sign agreement to stop spread of fake news online. And Afghanistan goes to polls to elect a new president. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.